Hello all, this is Dr. Harish Gupta from Department of Applied Geochemistry, Osmania University. Along with my colleague Dr. K. Karunakar Reddy from Osmania University, we are going to offer another paper on which is entitled as Water Resources and Watershed Management. Why we need to talk about water? If you look at the earth from sky, earth looks like a blue planet. 71% of the earth's surface is covered by water. But is it really that much water we can use? Is it really that entire amount of water is usable to us? That's a big question. If we look into the water quality, then 97% of this water is in ocean, which has high salt content, so it is not usable. Then we are left with 3% of the water. Most of that 3% water is also capped either in the form of glaciers, or a lot of water is there into the ground as in form of groundwater. So again we are left with very small proportion of water on the earth's surface. Now this small portion of the water is there for us to use. If we look about the earth's population at present, we are 7.5 billion people. 1803 we started with 1 billion people, and we now reached to this much number. If we talk about availability of water resources, in 1960s it was around 15,000 meter cubic per person, and if you look now it's around 3,000 cubic meter per capita. If you talk about India's situation is more grim. In 1950 it was around 5,000 meter cubic, and at that time our population was 36 crore. Now we are 1.34 billion people in India, and our per capita availability of water is only 2,000 meter cubic. So we are growing into the number, and as well as the water is being polluted by us during entire uses. We use water for many purposes, right from drinking, right from cooking, agriculture needs. Do you know that for one day meal, for one person, the water amount of water which is used for preparing that much food is 2,000 to 3,000 liter. We never realize the importance of this water. So keeping this view in mind, we are going to offer this particular course. So we are going to cover some broad topics which we will first give classification of water resources, and then what are the different sources of water and what are the uses of this water, what is the hydrological cycle, from ocean water goes to the sky and come back to us and go back to the ocean. This is what the hydrological cycle. So we need to understand how complex this process is. Then what is the global water budget? Then we will try to give concept about stream gauges, discharge, hydrographs. We'll talk about floods and droughts. We'll talk about erosion and sedimentation, because floods are there, it will erode the soil, and ultimately this sediment has to deposit somewhere. Then we will talk about national water policy in this paper, and we will also talk about water conservation, public awareness. Then we'll try to give an overview of what is the use of water and what is the overuse of this water. Then we'll go and talk about rivers, lakes, and reservoirs. Which are the main rivers in India, and how much water they have, and how many people are there in those basins. Then we will talk about what kind of system we have about municipal supplies in different cities. Then we'll talk about irrigation, modern irrigation technologies. This is particularly important because we are seeing that a lot of farmers are suiciding every day. Then we will talk about interstate disputes in the water resources. Then we'll also try to cover another topic, which is environmental consequences of dam. In India, if you look, we have more than 5,000 large dams. So if we can understand they are important for us to give water, but at the same time they have a lot of social and environmental consequences. Then we'll talk about water quality parameters, biological parameters, physiochemical parameters. We'll talk about different kind of pollutants. Then we'll also talk how from the industries we are effluent are coming, how we can mitigate it, we can go for zero industrial discharge. Then we'll talk how we have polluted our rivers and lakes. Then we'll also try to give some idea about water treatment policies. In the last part, we'll talk about watershed management. What is the concept of watershed? Then we will try to give some examples in India and abroad, and then we'll try to introduce some our experiences, how people have managed their watersheds. So through this way we will try to cover our entire paper, and we hope that at the end of this paper our prospective students will be able to appreciate the importance of the water for life, and they will also able to appreciate the earth, which is the life's one and only known life sustaining planet in the universe, and without water we cannot have any life. So I hope that student will be enormously benefited. Thanks all.